KSSK CMD Chats. We're here with the final episode. Has this been fun?
Yeah, I think it has. I hope our viewers have found it fun. This episode, we're not going to be interviewing anyone in particular. I mean, I guess we're interviewing each other. We'll have like a discussion about our experiences, not just in pulmonary care, just in general with our disabilities.
Also, topics that we feel are important for people to know in general. A cute little wrap up to tie it up with a bow.
Okay, so on the topic of like leading discussions, there's self-advocacy. So what does that really like mean to you, and why is it important, you know?
Well, one thing for me is that self-advocacy means not only doing what you need, but kind of doing what makes you feel comfortable with your disability, I guess. One huge example for me is that most people want me to advocate for what I want. They want me to say if I want to try a new sport or try to hang out with someone. They always want me to say that, but they also don't ask me what I don't want.
Yeah.
So if I'm ever doing something and like, let's say for gym, like I'm completely comfortable in my disability, but there's some things I'm uncomfortable doing necessarily. Not because I'm like, oh my God, I'm embarrassed because I have to do this even though I'm disabled, blah, blah, blah. It's just like, I just genuinely don't want to do this thing right now. But whenever I say that, people get so confused that I don't want to do something that I can do.
Oh, I get what you're going for. It's like, you don't always want to be included if you can't really like do it in a way that's fun for you, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, like everyone thinks like your main goal is to be included. I don't know, like let's think about it this way. Let's say there's a game of laser tag. Let's say you can decide to go on this field trip to play laser tag, or you can decide to not, and they're not going to tell you not to go. In fact, they're like, oh yeah, you can totally go, and they're happy to like bring you. But if I just don't want to go because I know even if they let me be included, I won't be included in a way that will be like fun for me, because I just can't. Like, you can't run around and like shoot those guns and like have fun with it the way that other kids might. So I just rather not and stay at home and like do something I can do, like watch Netflix. And like some people just don't get that. They think like always my main goal is to be included, but like maybe it's to be included in a way I want to, or I'd rather just not.
Yeah.
So
that was a very good way of putting it, actually. Because it's like, of course I would love to do it, but it's not going to be fun for me if I do it the way you want me to. What about you, actually? Is it different for you, or?
With like self-advocacy? Yeah, actually, I mean, I definitely would always self-advocate if I feel the need to. I think one thing that people don't understand is like, I don't always feel the need to, so like, if I'm not saying something, it's because I'm fine. Yeah, but you should always self-advocate when you need to advocate for something for yourself.
Yeah, like I grew up wanting to be as independent as possible and not like asking for help and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then it kind of grew into this I have to do everything by myself complex, which means that I rarely advocate for myself when I probably should, because I don't really want to bother anyone.
Gotcha. I don't think it was less that I didn't think I would be a burden to other people, but more that I'd feel it would make me more alienated in a way. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll give you a really weird example. Let's say maybe I don't feel like stepping out to use the restroom. I don't feel like asking my aide to help me use the restroom. When I was in elementary school, I got really good at holding my pee.
Dude,
like,
same here.
Amazingly good. Not because like I didn't trust my aide or something. It just didn't. Most kids don't have to ask someone to help when they need to use the toilet. So like, yeah, I had problems with that. I mean, I would not pee for an entire school day. I mean, as I've said before, I am proud of the fact that now I can like use the restroom every day and like feel more comfortable asking for that. Yeah, what about you?
One thing that people know about me is that I am a huge internet computer geek. I'm on the computer like 24/7, like most of my free time I'm on it. And it was because when I was in like 3rd grade, I realized there aren't any extracurriculars that I can do right now, especially because it was in elementary school. No one really knew what to do with me.
Yeah.
So I just discovered, hey, I can play on my computer in the free time. I used a laptop overheated, the bottom literally broke off.
Oh.
So I asked, hey, this is something I'm passionate about, and this is one thing that I can do in my free time and that I enjoy. My parents were able to get me a really awesome PC, which is what I'm using right now, actually. It's really helped me make a lot of friends on the internet. It's also given me a lot to do, especially during quarantine. I have a disability.
Yeah.
I can't do that much in my free time.
Yeah.
So I'm very proud of myself that I was able to get up the courage to ask, hey, can I have a PC? What is your experience with COVID?
I would say the biggest thing was probably school, which is the same for all of my classmates, I guess. I didn't like virtual school, kind of sucked.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't wish to, like, go back to school and, like, risk, like, other people or myself, but I feel like it's taking my high school experience away, you know?
That was one thing that a lot of the kids were worried about, was that their senior and freshman experiences were getting taken away from them.
Yeah, I'm getting my freshman experience taken away, so it kind of sucks. It's like high school is just a soft, tiny little cushion right before you have to plunge into adulthood, and it's like, I don't even get to have all 4 years of that.
With high school, you're jumping into a very shallow 5-foot deep pool. When you're going into college, it's a cliff.
Right. So when have you not been successful in advocating for your needs?
Actually, I think every time in school when I didn't want to do something and I just didn't say it.
Yeah.
Not like I was being forced to do it, but that if I didn't do it, it would make me look weird.
Okay, I'm going to bring it up one more time. It's like the peeing example. It's one thing if you're able-bodied and you're like, okay, I need to use the restroom. Like, everyone knows you're going to go pee, but, like, it's like, okay, fine, everyone does that. It's another thing when you're disabled and you know that someone's going to have to help you. And for able-bodied people, that's like, whoa, weird, gross. One of my aides, when I asked her, I was like, I was trying to be really quiet. Like, I need to use the restroom, but I didn't want to, like, broadcast it, especially the fact that I was asking her because it means she's, like, coming with me. Like, personally, I'm not ashamed about it, but I know, like, other kids would, like, judge me for it, and I'm really used to, like, trying to cast off as much judgment as possible. So that's like what I'm talking about is like what you were talking about. Like you're afraid to ask for help because like you'd be embarrassed to ask for it because you know that other people are going to be like judging you for it. And by the way, for any viewers watching, please don't feel that way. I mean, you're going to feel that way, but like you shouldn't feel that way.
Yeah, if you feel that way because other kids literally show like disgust or something else, that's on them. That's their problem.
And I'm not trying to make it like, oh, you should just stop caring because it's really hard to stop caring, but especially with that sort of thing because you get kids asking you left and right. Okay, so many times I've been asked like how to use the restroom, and like you don't because
I sit on the toilet and pee.
I know because you know they're looking for an answer like, oh, but like who helps her? Kind of humiliating. Like, I don't want to talk about that with you. What made you think that was okay?
Self-advocacy isn't only about what you need and want, but it's also about sticking up for yourself. So many people have come up to my mom when I'm out in public and they're like, hi, your daughter is so beautiful, bless her heart. And I'm like, oh, thank you very much. And that person is surprised that I replied.
Yeah,
They're
that's
like,
the problem is like they talk to whoever you're with instead of you.
Yeah.
I mean, even if I was unresponsive, which I'm not, you might want to give it a shot anyways. Like,
if someone is not able to talk for whatever reason, they would still appreciate it when someone directs things at them.
Exactly.
And what I'm looking for the most in an aide, maybe when I get into college, someone who is able to be half friend, half aide, where like, well, they're aiding me, I can still talk about stuff with them.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense because if you think about it, like the only type of person you'd really have by your side all day is a friend, right? And it's awkward to have somebody who's not really on the same level as you. You need to be on a really high level of comfort with them, right? Because they kind of like They help you with anything you need help with.
I personally don't have a home aide. The only aide I've ever had is for during school.
Before I had a nanny, and now I have a nurse, like an official nurse. So before we talked about the PFTs, how did you feel about those, and like what did you do?
I mean, I feel good about the PFTs. They become normal at this point. They're
Yeah.
still tiring, and sometimes I still get nervous about doing them because I
Yeah.
kind of don't want bad results, I guess.
The PFTs are, they're fine. They're totally fine.
Yeah.
They're a little frustrating sometimes because like you really realize like how like weak your lungs are. You're like, oh, I can't even blow out a single candle. They're fine. Sleep studies, on the other hand, I actually don't mind as much. I think I used to be really put off by the stickers and the glue. It is kind of annoying to get them off the next morning. But while you're there,
Ow.
right? I mean,
Like, okay, one thing I will say, if you get a sleep study done, shave. Shave the night before.
shave,
You won't
because they stick to your hair.
Yes, I made that mistake the first 2 sleep studies.
Oof.
Until on the 3rd one, we literally just peeled it off because it was literally just on my skin. What are the first questions you usually get asked when you go to your pulmonologist?
I remember they always ask you, are you tired during the day? Do you yawn a lot? Stuff like that.
The main 3 questions that I remember them asking every time once we start actually talking about medical stuff is, do you feel tired? Do you have headaches? And are you eating well? And if I say, yes, I have a headache, they talk to me more about that. If I say, yes, I'm tired, they talk to me more about that.
Yeah.
When am I getting tired? How tired do I get? When I go into the pulmonologist, I usually do PFTs, and then we look at the results, compare them to previous results, see if there's anything we need to change. We bring in my BiPAP so that he can check the settings and make sure that they're right.
Yeah. We bring it in too.
If I need to have them changed or if I need to have a sleep study.
Actually, pretty much everything you listed, they will check my settings. They'll probably ask my mom a few questions. If I say I'm tired or something, they will talk to me about more breath support, like maybe making the settings more intense on my ventilator. They'll ask me if I've been doing cough assist every day, or they'll tell me I need to do sip and puff.
Last time I went to the pulmonologist, he told me that I needed to raise my settings.
Right.
And instantly I'm like, I'm getting weaker, stuff like that. And he said, no. You gained a lot of weight in between the last appointment and this appointment. That means that you're growing. That really made me feel nice because most of the time when you go to a pulmonology appointment and you need to get your settings changed, most likely to go up, it's not because you're getting weaker, it's because you're growing.
That's good to know, actually. When I do stuff like get more support or increase my settings, it always makes me less tired for like a pretty good amount of time, right? One thing that's made me less tired is my sip and puff. It's basically just a straw connected to your ventilator, and you put it on a different setting where it works with the straw. And you just take, at certain intervals, you take a breath if you're tired and you just need an extra boost of air, where you don't take it in yourself, you get a little support. And that's different from the ventilator because you can use it during the daytime. Just a little extra. It's not like constant. You don't always keep it in your mouth. Have you ever thought about using one?
Well, I've never heard of it before.
Oh, got
you
it.
started talking about it.
It definitely makes me feel less tired during the day because I feel like I can always just take that extra breath and not have to worry about taking it myself,
Like, obviously, sip and puff is like not an unusual thing to have, but it's kind of like a strange thing, I guess. Do your friends ever ask about it?
Oh yeah, this is a good topic. So let's see, I've only had the sip and puff for like a year. My friends once asked about it because I once took Snapchat streaks.
Yep.
Well, I do those for like no reason. They literally mean nothing. But I took a streak like with the straw in the picture. I sent it to my friend Ellie, and she was like, "Oh, what's that straw?" And I was like, "Helps me breathe." She's like, "Cool." I think that's just how that conversation went. But I think the ventilator is probably more of a, what did my friends say about that? Because that's what I would use like at night. So when I sleep over with people, that's probably what they would ask about. since I've gotten the BiPAP, I think she's the only friend that I've had sleepovers with at my house. I mean, she didn't ask about it. She knew that it existed before she came over. I think what we'd usually do is my dad would put the mask on me, and then I would leave it there. Because, like, when you get in bed at a sleepover, you don't plan to sleep right away, right? You stay there and talk. So my dad would just, like, leave it there and then show Paul, like, the button that she needs to press to turn it on. And then she would, like, turn it on for me.
You can breathe with the mask on and the machine off?
Oh, well, actually, I take it off of my nose and I just, like, rest it right above or, like, below or something.
Oh, yeah, you only have the nose mask.
Yeah, I just take it off and, like, put it, like, near my face so that I can just pull it down. So, like, I don't have the mask thing, like, the entire contraption off, but just, like, the nose piece. So it's just, like, whatever, I put it somewhere.
I usually do now for funsies is whenever I have a sleepover now, I lie in bed with my mask, with the machine on, just hanging out by text with my friends instead of talking up until, like, midnight.
Yeah.
We're just texting, which does have its perks, because it's kind of easier to pretend you're asleep when you're texting someone than when you're sitting up and talking with them.
That's true.
So you can be more sneaky.
You better make sure your parents don't watch this part.
Yeah.
You and I both have a cough assist and a BiPAP, but I think the difference is my cough assist has the 2 settings, or yours does too, but you don't know how to work it. So, you know, the second setting is the one where it also sucks the air out of your lungs instead of just pushing it in.
Are you supposed to cough as it sucks out, or are you just supposed to let it play?
I was confused about that. I think it's still like good exercise even if you can't cough during it. I think the idea is that especially if you're sick.
If you're sick and you're weak and you can't cough.
Because then it pulls the mucus out of your lungs.
Yeah.
But it's just generally, it's good exercise.
It augments your cough. If you can't cough at all, it will do what it's best to simulate
it. Yeah. So that's what I was thinking. It's like, it's still good even if you can't cough in addition. But I guess it's best that ideally you cough during it, I guess. It's just exercise for you. Unless you're sick, then it really like pulls the mucus out of your lungs, you know?
So obviously we had so much fun. I honestly feel like I can annoy you whenever I want now and be like, hey, how does this work?
Yeah, definitely.
Because not only do I have the stuff I learned from the web series, but I also have you I can go to now.
Yeah, I think it's really important to have friends with the same conditions as you, because that's like a way you can really communicate honestly about it. That concludes our last episode. We really hope you guys enjoyed the series. Remember, you can always follow up on the Cure CMD page, which we will link.
And the pulmonary guide.
Yeah, that's where you would find the pulmonary guide. I guess it's just a really detailed, sophisticated version of the stuff we covered with the doctors.
We thank every single one of you.
Yes.
You've been amazing. We learned a lot. I find it very important that people see this and that people get to share and learn about all of this stuff. Yeah, thank you guys so much.
Okay, that's it.
For more ways to stay connected, download the CMD mobile app and sign up for the newsletter. Here is a link to the CMD Pulmonary Guide, which is very interesting. And if you have questions, email us at breathe@curecmd.org. And wait, before you go, be sure to like and subscribe. Add your comments below to keep the conversation going. Thanks again for watching. Bye!